everyone. My name is Curtis Haugen, and I'm the branch manager of Sioux Falls, South Dakota in the North Star Division here. And I'm super grateful and excited to be giving this message today on like lists. And ever since I got my start with Cutco and Vector a little over 2 years ago, the like list has really helped me achieve many really thrilling accomplishments. And this talk is heavily influenced by Ty Greenberg's like list in 2013. Which helped me close an office record 25 sales in a row and finish a 17K SC2 push with a closing percentage of 84%. So please get your pens and notebooks ready, take lots of notes, and get ready to absolutely crush like lists in your future demos here. So first, the 3 keys of a like list. Number 1, building the list. The more pieces you get on it, the bigger the order will be. Number 2 is going through the deals, and then last but not least, dropping down and eventually closing. So how do you start a like list? All of you should be familiar with the wish list or customizing options part of the manual on page 12. And that's when most people would say you start the like list, after going through all the sets. However, you can also do a like list after the customer says yes to a set. So say you ask for the order on the homemaker. You say, hey, Mrs. Jones, would you like to try out that homemaker set today? She says yes. You're like, whew, let's go. You're super pumped up. It's a sweet order, but, just wait on, hold on. Don't write up that order right then and there yet, even though you may be super excited. So how you should go about it is you ask for the order. You say, hey, Mrs. Jones, would you like to try out that homemaker set today? Said, yeah. And you know what? We'll go with that one. You say, awesome, congrats. You're going to love your Cutco. Now, let me show you some of our other gadgets and accessories. And what I like to do now is build something called a like list. Now, this isn't necessarily anything you're going to buy today, just stuff that you're interested in. So if they're getting a set, do you think the customer likes Cutco? Yeah, of course. Do you think they'll also like cookware? Do you think they'll also like flatware? Some extra gadgets? Maybe even another set for their kids? The answer is yes. So you want to start that like list right then and there after they say yes to that set. Now, of course, the other time you're going to build a like list is after asking for the order and dropping down through all the sets. If you start with the homemaker set, go to the galley, essentials, studio, all the starter sets. And if they say no to all those, then that takes you to page 12 of the manual. And so this talk right here will actually replace what you do on page 12. So listen closely and keep taking some great notes. So before actually building the like list, the customer needs to believe that this is a like list, not a buy list. You are their personal shopper for the day. Have fun with it, Imagine you walk into your favorite store. So, put yourself in my mind right now or just do it yourself. For me personally, say I walk into Lululemon or the Nike store and then, the associate on the floor approaches you and says, hey, there are no price tags in the store today on the merchandise. So, just have fun, go pick out everything you like, and then I'll give you a killer deal at the end. I'm looking around like, okay, what am I going to get first? I'd be running around, I got to get 6 pairs of shoes. I got to get a bunch of shirts, shorts, hoodies, pullovers, you name it. I'm just if they're going to give me a killer deal, why not? At least I want to hear what they have, to offer me. So I'm going to, go and pick out everything that I like, even if I necessarily won't be buying that today. And then next, you'll also want to utilize cooking rapport that you built earlier in the demo, So if you don't know what cooking rapport is, it just means going beyond, the basics of asking, do you cook because you have to, like to, or love to? So asking extra questions like, how many days out of the week would you say you're preparing a meal, or how many times out of the week would you say you're preparing a meal right there in your kitchen? like a small amount, 1 to 3 times, a medium amount, 4 or 5, or pretty much every day, 6, 7, 8 times a week. Also, what are a few of those meals that you're making on a daily basis, or not on a daily basis, but a weekly basis? Are you or Mr. Jones a grill master? Mr. Jones is? That's awesome. What kind of meats is he throwing down on the grill? Steaks, chicken, pork chops, ribs. Awesome. Love that. What are a few of those vegetables that you guys do quite often? What are your favorite fruits, Mrs. Jones? One that I really like, that I always get some pretty cool answers for, is what's the most annoying or difficult thing to cut up in your kitchen? Got some pretty cool answers to that. So just go, below the surface level, asking them questions, and that'll help you be able to recommend some pieces later. And then you also are just able to be a better, personal shopper for them. You can kind of suggest some stuff. And obviously, the more pieces you can get them to put on their list, the sweeter the deal, the sharper the deal you can give them, and it will also make it easier for you to drop down as well. So make it a win-win situation for both of you and the customer by showing everything. You should never, ever end a demo without showing the cookware, without showing the flatware, without showing the gift sets, without showing the hunting, fishing, gardening, barbecue tools, all of those accessories, because you never really know what people are going to like. Next, when building the like list, so you want to start off by making a numbered list 1 through 10. So you can either do that on a notebook piece of paper, or you can do it on the whiteboard screen share function on Zoom. I really like that. If you guys don't know about that yet, I would definitely play around. There's a screen share option when you go to click on it. It says whiteboard. Basically, it's just a big white slide. You can type on it, draw on it, whatever. It's pretty cool. And I like that one the best because then you and the customer both get to see it right there on the screen. So the strategy behind making a numbered list is really just challenging the customer. They probably haven't been challenged all day, honestly. They've been taking care of the kids, doing their monotonous work tasks, cooking food, whatever it may be. So have fun and really give them a challenge. Humans, we work to completion, so making a list and numbering that list is just going to make them want to fill it out completely. And now the opening line of the like list begins like this. So what I like to do with all the people I meet with is build something called a like list. Now, this isn't necessarily anything you're going to buy today. It's just stuff that you're interested in. So, Mrs. Jones, if Cutco were falling from the sky, handles first, of course, what would you have to grab before your neighbor gets to it? So that's a money line. Obviously, it has a joke in there, so it takes the pressure off of them, and it also, gets them having fun. So what I like to do with all my customers or all the people I meet with is build something called a like list. Now, this isn't necessarily anything that you're going to buy today, just stuff that you're interested in. So, Mrs. Jones, if Cutco were falling from the sky, handles first, of course, what would you have to grab before your neighbor gets to it? And as long as you can get that first piece on the list, you're golden. An easy way to get that first piece is actually just to recommend something that they said that they would use earlier when you were going through the homemaker pieces and when you were using the cooking report, like I said. So if they said, oh, we do a lot of chicken on the weekdays, you can say, hey, I know you said you do a lot of chicken. Remember I said that petite carver, that one's for your small roasts and chicken. That one would be perfect. How about we start that one off on your list? Perfect. And then once you get that first one, all you have to say is how many and what else. So if there's anything that you take from this presentation, it should be these 4 words: how many and what else. Those are the 4 biggest CPO boosters in the sales world. So say she goes for the trimmer. Say, hey, that one's perfect. It'll be used, that's your utility knife. You're going to use that all the time. You say, hey, how many of those trimmers would you like, Mrs. Jones? 2 of them? Yeah, for sure. Like I said, you'll use that all the time. I know you guys are going to get a lot of use out of that one. All right, perfect. What else? It's very important you say what else instead of anything else. The correct response to what else is listing another piece. You can't really say no to what else. But if you said, yeah, anything else, they can easily say no, and then you're stuck with a two-piece like list. So it's the same as if you're at a restaurant, you know? They say, hey, would you like to make that a meal today? Or, you know, I'm at Chipotle, you know, I got my steak burrito, I'm getting up, I'm ready to pay. And they say, okay, awesome, we got your steak burrito. What else? What else can I get for you? You know, I was kind of eyeing the chips and guac. So, you know, I'll add the chips and guac onto it, and I need a drink to wash it down. So, you know, everybody uses it. So how many and what else? Those are something or two phrases that you absolutely need to add into your presentations. And then as they're listing off the pieces that they use, you're going to want to reaffirm their choices, basically telling them that, hey, that's a great choice and it's perfect for you, solidifying the fact that, hey, they're going to buy this. Some really easy ones is, oh yeah, that's a great choice, or that one's super popular. It's one of my favorites too. That'll be perfect for, you know, the watermelon that you do in the summertime. Or, oh yeah, you're going to use that all the time for tomatoes. I know you said you do a lot of salads with tomatoes, cucumbers, you know, bell pepper, stuff like that. It's going to be perfect for those. So really reaffirming those pieces and telling them, hey, that's a great choice. You're going to love that, solidifying that they're going to get it. And after you list out what they want, you're going to give them a few recommendations. You want to recommend at least 4 pieces every single time. And so how do you go into that? All you got to say is, hey, that's a great list so far, Mrs. Jones. Would you mind if I recommend a few of my customers' favorite pieces quick? Okay, great. Don't be afraid to make recommendations and suggestions. Remember, you are the Cutco nerd here. You are the knife specialist. You know more about it than they do. So most often, pretty much 100% of the time, they're going to say, yeah, go for it. And so a few of the easiest pieces to recommend, first off, table knives and steak knives. They're used at every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. People that don't have them, they need them. They're literally the knives you just grab to cut up something really quick. You know, if they like to entertain, definitely suggest the steak knives, and always suggest at least 8 to 12. You know, if it's a family of 4, got to have 2 per person so you don't have to wash them after every meal. So it's definitely 8. And then, you know, if they have people over, you know, you got to have some extras too so people don't feel left out without a table knife. You know, that's just mean. You can't have them doing the earthquake effect on the table with a butter knife. You got to get them those extra table knives. So hook them up with those table knives. Another really easy one, the super shears. Everybody loves the super shears. They can get through that, you know, nasty shrink wrap that's over batteries. It makes no sense why it's that durable, but those are perfect. You know, you always want to suggest 2, one for the kitchen and one for the rest of the house, because when you get one good pair of super shears or one good pair of scissors, it's always missing from the kitchen. I know moms and dads get that because it happens literally all the time. So always suggest 2. The cheese knife, that one's personally one of my favorites, a lot of my customers' favorites as well. So that's why I always suggest that one. It's the holy knife, of course. You can only use it on Sundays. If you don't say that joke, definitely do. They always laugh or groan at that. Either way, you're getting a reaction. So it's the sharpest knife too, because it has the thinnest double D edge. So it's kind of like a second trimmer. It's great for all those soft, sticky, and starchy foods because, of course, the holes in it doesn't let anything stick to the side. It just falls right over. Another great one, the Petite Santoku. Easily probably my favorite knife out of all the knives that we make. Reason being, it got the Rachel Ray, you know, drop tip. It's perfect for chopping up those veggies, and it's not as big and bulky as a French chef. So super versatile to use for those smaller veggies. It's usually the wife's favorite knife, you know, the little baby chopper. So that one's a great one to suggest as well. And then the Hardy Slicer. So obviously that one's the barbecue and grilling knife. That's the bad boy. The the husband's knife. He's going to use that for, those bigger racks of ribs, frozen chunks of meat, and even tough root vegetables. You can even say, Mrs. Jones, trust me, you can get everything that you want today as long as you get Mr. Jones, the hearty slicer. He's not going to care at all. He's going to love that thing more than he loves you. No, I'm totally just kidding. Totally just kidding. But those are some of my favorite pieces to suggest. And how you go about asking is after you tell them why it's a great suggestion, you just say, hey, would you like to toss that on the list? Super nonchalant. Would you like to toss it on the list? And after that, you're going to want to move on to gift sets. If they really see the value in Cutco, they definitely will want to give it as a gift to their family and friends as well. So 2 really good questions to ask are, who do you know that's getting married in the next 6 to 12 months? Obviously, Cutco, they're going to use it every day and it's going to last forever. So they'll be thinking about the person that gave it to them literally every day, every time that they use it. So it's a pretty unique gift. Secondly, who do you know whose birthday is coming up in the next 12 months? Gotcha there. It's a joke, obviously. Everybody's birthday is coming up in the next 12 months. So if they don't list anybody, you can say, hey, maybe you kind of went over your head a little bit, but no worries. And then obviously, that's a really good way to use that on recommendations later as well. So if they say, oh yeah, my best friend Becky's birthday is coming up in, July, I say, okay, perfect. And then you kind of put that away. And then when recommendations come up, hey, how about Becky? She seemed like a nice gal, So you can always be using these things during your demo to kind of help you out. And Cutco, like I said, is something that they're going to use every day for the rest of their lives. And they're always going to think of that person who gave it to them. And then when going through the deals and finalizing the list, all you got to say when going into the deals is you say, hey, awesome, that's a really great list, Mrs. Jones. Now, while I figure out what sweet deals I can get you today, you can keep looking at the gifts and accessories. So have the screen share of the demo slides up, just kind of be clicking through it a little bit as you're kind of getting the prices going. But as they're listing off their like list, you could have been writing those pieces down on some paper or adding them into your cart in the Cutco Orders app. Just a warning, if you do have to be pretty quick, if you want to do the app method, but if you're pretty familiar with it, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So after you add everything up, you'll find the total cost of the order that's signified under the value section right there in the app. And then you're going to multiply that by 0.2 to find how much their 20% discount is worth. So you can give up to 30% for free, but 20% is just a good starting point for all customers. And you're going to want to give away the cheapest items for free, because then you can give them more free gifts rather than one expensive gift. It's pretty cool being able to say, hey, I can give you this, this, and this for free versus, I can give you one thing for free. People usually, they get really excited over, free gifts if they get quite a bit, even if it's like, a small gift. Think of when you were a kid at Christmas, your brother or sister could have had, 4 presents that were, just little, and then you had one big present, and yours might have been the most expensive, but you were kind of jealous because they got 4 and you only got 1. So, always give the least expensive stuff for free. And do you think you should give them something something from their list for free, or something that they didn't mention for the free stuff? Always something from their list. Obviously, you don't want to kind of try to do a special and throw in something that they didn't really say they liked. Always stick to the stuff that they put on their list. And then the next step is going to the whiteboard feature on Zoom and writing out Mrs. Jones super sharp special, So you're going to write out Mrs. Jones super sharp special. That's a tongue twister. Oh, wow. So then you're going to follow it up, as you can see on the screen here, by the normal value, then the savings that they get, and then your price, the customer price, and finally the 5 pay, which will be circled. The reason you want to put it in this format is because it's just a psychological thing. If people see the normal price represented by N, psychologically it kind of means no. And then if they see your price signified by Y, then they're thinking yes. And then obviously you're going to attract the 5 pay with a circle because that's pretty much what everyone does. And now here's the specific verbiage to use when presenting the deal. And I may bounce back and forth from slide to slide here so you can see where I got the numbers from my mock like list. All right, Mrs. Jones, so if you wanted to go ahead and take care of everything today, that like list with, and then you're going to list out all the pieces and reaffirm where they like them. So you got the 4-inch paring knife. That one's going to give you a lot of versatility on the cutting board. We got the trimmer. That one's going to be used every day. That's your utility knife for those tomatoes, those small fruits. Then we got your spatula spreader. That's one of my favorites as well. Your kids are going to love that for all the PB&Js. And then we got the petite carver, of course, for your chicken. I know you mentioned those chicken tacos that you made the other week. Those sound really, really good. Honestly, if you have a recipe for them, send them my way because I really want to try that. And then we got the butcher knife, for the watermelon. Got those warm summer months coming up. And then we also got the petite santoku for all your chopping veggies. And then, of course, the hearty slicer there for your husband as well. So that came out to, we can see over here, $739. However, today I can get you the 4-inch, or we'll go with the spatula spreader, and the trimmer for free, saving you $151, making it only $588 in total. But like I said, the majority of our customers just break it up into the 5-month interest-free investment plan, making it only $120 today. So how does that sound? Like to try that out today? And then if yes, congratulations, you're going to love your Cutco. If not, hey, no worries, and then just go down into the drop-down process. So maybe they say no. If you have a bigger list with 7 or more items, you'll say, hey, what are 2 or 3 items you could live without? And if it's a list of 3 or 5 items, just say, hey, what are those 1 to 2 items that you could live without? So whichever ones they list, just delete them from your cart and find the new 20% discount and ask for the order again. And when asking for the order the second time, the easiest way to ask is by saying, hey, is this something you think fits your budget and cooking style a bit better? It does? Okay, perfect. And you said you like the black handles the best? Perfect, let me get that written up for you. If no, hey, no worries. What are those bare necessities, Oh, the bare necessities, just have fun with it, make them laugh. What are those bare necessities, the ones you couldn't live without? And this exact like list method has produced some of my biggest orders at times where I thought the demo was going way downhill. In fact, I remember this old lady I had met with, she had owned Cutco table knives for years, and throughout the whole presentation, she wasn't really engaging much and saying no every time I asked for the order on a set. But when we finally got down to the like list, I just had fun with her, asked her a bunch of questions, made a huge like list worth over $1,500. And when I asked her if she would like to, take care of everything today and go with their like list, she just said, sure. And to say I wasn't shocked at the time would be a complete lie, but that's truly what happens when you just keep the energy and positivity up during the like list and follow the steps here. So there should be a document that lays out the steps and some of the verbiage being put in the chat or emailed to you all. So apply that knowledge and go crush your demos by making a huge like list. Thanks for your time.